Welcome back to the Doralicious Show for a Happy Greek Radio, and allow me to welcome a young poet who just published her first poetry collection, Reverie, Victoria Zachos. Victoria, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dora. Thank you so much.
How's my fellow UFT student doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Beautiful day in the city, actually.
Although I was Trinity College and you're Victoria, so we have a little bit of beef right there.
Amazing. I'm good.
So, Koritsimu, first publication, Reverie, Daydream. Why this title?
Well, I actually found this title from a song, Dermot Kennedy's song, and I fell in love with this word after because I felt like it described me 24/7. I am in a constant daydream, and it was just so fitting for this book.
What does daydream mean to you?
I think I am someone who is constantly like in her head and always thinking about just things that something's meaningful, something's not. So the word daydream just it feels like a certain depth of thought that I think is so important, and it's kind of like a wish, things that you're constantly wishing for and desiring, and reverie's about that.
And what does this collection, Reverie, mean to you? Is it a window to your soul?
Yes, Reverie is me in 74 pages. It is a part of my life, I would say, is the best way to put it, that a lot of people actually don't really know much about. It was a part of my life where I was pretty isolated because I wrote it while I was suffering from a concussion. So it's a part of my life that I was dealing with certain things, but then I was also desiring for certain things. So I think it's a part of my life that a lot of people have never really seen, and it's part of my life that I wanted to share with the world.
Do you find you're a closed off person and the book was your way out?
I would say I'm more introverted than extroverted, yes. But I think the book was my way of, I do express my emotions, but not to this extent. And not with the world. That's something that's very new to me. Publishing this book and getting it out there was so scary in that sense. But yeah, I guess it was a way out a little bit.
And how long did you work on it? How long did it take you to write?
I wrote for about a year and a half, I would say. And then I edited for about 6 months on my own, and with some like I had a teacher in high school who I had a writer's craft course with. She kind of looked it over. I had a couple friends and stuff that also look it over. And then I got started with the publishing process, who had further editors. But it was a long process because I had a lot of trouble finding some way to publish it. Yeah. So it took a while, a couple years.
And I was just in New York a couple weeks ago, and when I was on the plane, I had just said to someone, "I'm fine, thanks." And then I get to one of the pages in the book that you talk about the word "fine."
Yeah.
Is that one of your favorite words?
It is one of my favorite words. Yes. So I find it interesting when people always say like, "I'm fine." There's like a dissatisfaction kind of with the word. But at the end of the day, or at least when I was going through this whole concussion, I was like, fine is the perfect word to describe kind of how I'm feeling. I'm not bad, I'm not good, but I will be okay. So I'm fine. And I think that there's an optimism to the word fine, but it's not overly expressive.
Yeah.
So I think it's a deeper word than we play it off to be. Kind of, I don't know. I enjoy the word a lot.
In a way, it's an underestimated word.
100%.
It gives you that like hope, leap of faith. I'm like, you know what? I might be in my worst, but from the worst, you're only going to get better. So I'm fine.
Exactly. So I'm fine. Exactly.
I love it. Let's go on a quick break. Let's listen to a song, and we'll be back because I want to talk to you more about the two chapters. I mean, the two parts. Why you chose those two parts, and learn more about your experiences. So stay tuned with Victoria Zachos and her poetry collection Reverie exclusively for the Doralicious Show. So, two parts, herself and reformation. How did you reform while writing these poems?
So herself was really about the things I was feeling. It was very about the adversity I was experiencing and how I wanted to crawl out of it, but wasn't really able to yet because it was still so soon. Whereas reformation was about the healing process and actually crawling out of that space that I was in. And I think a lot of that came from family and support in that direction, but also feeling better, like recovery process with the concussion and everything. But then a lot of it actually came from other art forms like music. But was one of the only things I was really allowed to do was listen to quiet music. I wasn't allowed to watch TV for a while, wasn't in school, things like that. So music played a big part in that. But as well as just getting outside when I could, things like that. There's a couple poems in there you'll notice about nature, but also a way of changing your way of thought, your perspective on things. I found makes a huge difference because I find that adversity is something that, yes, we go through, and yes, it's good to feel all the hard emotions that come with it. But there's a time and place to be like, okay, I experienced this, but now it's time to move on. And now it's time to kind of get back into my normal routine and things like that. And there's a optimism that comes with that, but there's also perspective that comes with that. And it's important to change your perspective so that you can actually make those advances. And so I think getting back into my regular routine with the help of my family and doctors and all that good stuff was a part of it. But then there's also that internal aspect.
Well, I'm definitely happy that you used a situation that happened and you came out of it strong and you're able to share it with the world. And I'm seeing in the background you have a butterfly.
Yes.
Is that part of the visual or the representation of that reformation that you go through, the way a butterfly in her life goes through it?
100%. I don't know if you've ever heard of the butterfly effect.
Yes.
I'm actually a weird believer in that. I think it's a weird phenomenon, but I think that something that happens at the beginning of your life is meant to change something that happens later. And I think that everything happens for a reason. And there's a big part of that in Reverie as well. And the butterfly is a perfect representation. There's a lot of butterflies in the images as well. I'm sure you noticed.
And I also noticed that you use periods, but there are no capital letters, which is
Yeah.
similar to what Rupi Kaur does in her poetry as well. So why
Yeah.
did you decide to write that way?
So I don't write with capitals because I like the uniformness of the way it looks, yes, but also for lack of distinction between letters. Kind of in a similar way to the way we're all the same, no matter color, race, language, all that kind of thing. So that's kind of why I decided not to use capitals. And to this day, I don't use capitals in anything that I write aside from schoolwork, of course. But yeah, I like the uniformness of not using capitals. I think it's all encompassing is the word I'm looking for.
I like that. And where can people find Reverie?
Reverie can be found online at Chapters, Friesen Press, Barnes and Nobles, Amazon.ca or Amazon.com. And it can be found in store now at Chapters at certain locations. Just make sure you check online before you go in.
Victoria, what's next for you?
Well, I'm going to continue school. And then I'm actually in progress. There's a book in progress that I'm working on right now. So hopefully I can finish that one soon and then get that one in the hands of readers as well.
Is that also a poetry collection?
It is also a poetry collection, yes.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wish you all the best. I can't wait to see what's coming next and read those next poems into yourself. Is it also similar to what we saw in Reverie, or are you taking a different direction?
There's a little bit of a different direction, so something to look forward to. It kind of summarizes a little bit of what 2020 looked like for everyone, with a little bit of my own twist to it. So yeah, it should be good.
Well, stay tuned. I can't wait for the next one. Victoria, thank you again. And I wish you the best of luck with Reverie. So don't forget, everyone, check it out. Fila que por la.
Thank you.